Knight Gunko is absurdly overpowered.
You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
And we now know King Harald did have some shady connections with the world government.
I knew it!
Welcome back to the Grand Line Fantasy, everyone. Today we are going to talk about One Piece, chapter 1146. This chapter, which was surprisingly focused on a character who is slowly becoming a favorite of mine, Holy Knight Gunko. She was the primary focus of this chapter. There's a lot to talk about her, so let's dive straight into the chapter. We pick up the chapter where we left off the last time. We saw Gunko board the Colon pirates. The chapter starts with a shot of concerned looks on everybody's faces. They immediately come to the conclusion of Gunko being one of the intruders. And when Colon calls her an intruder from the human race, let's just say she does not like that. Also, I am really sad that Oda did not give me the Gunko fangirl moment that I had been waiting for. But I still think Oda will surely do some kind of gag with Brook and Gunko further into the story. But more interestingly, we do get the reactions of both Gunko and Brook here. It's slightly difficult to say whether both of them are looking at each other in this panel or not. Like, Gunko could just be looking at others as well, and not just Brook. But if that is the case, does Gunko know about the Soul King? Is she completely oblivious to that fact? Or does she even know Brook is the Soul King, but chooses to ignore him? I genuinely thought this chapter would give us answers to some of these questions, but that does not seem to be the case here. More importantly, out of nowhere, we got an Enel name drop by Ussop. We haven't seen Enel since his cover story, and Luffy mentioned him once during his training with Rayleigh. That was about 600 chapters ago. So name-dropping a character like Enel at this point in the story is quite interesting. Obviously, this doesn't mean that he is going to show up on Elbaf, but there have been people who theorize this exact thing. I don't think that it will happen. But surely I'd lose my mind if he does show up here on Elbaf. Moving on, we then catch up with Franky, Gerd, Lilith, and Bonnie, who we last saw were fighting against the storm monster. But Franky has taken care of it. He used his radical beam to defeat the monster, which I do not understand how that works. Like, it's a cloud, and he fired a laser at it. Logically, the laser should have just gone through the cloud or something like that. I thought it was weird. Comment down below if you thought the same, or if I'm the one who has really said something really stupid. Also, it's not clear whether they are running away from the lab or going back in, because we really could use Franky's and Gerd's help right now. We see the kids are still walking through the burnt path. Everybody is facing someone or the other, and the kids are getting closer and closer to the ships. Gunko tells the Straw Hats about their plan of taking the kids to the Holy Land. I still don't get this anime trope about the bad guys telling the good guys about their evil plans. I get that it has to be mentioned for the purpose of telling a story, but it's just illogical. Like, mate, you're the bad guy, you don't have to explain anything to anyone. Just do the evil things, ignore others, and leave. Anyway, moving on. The Straw Hats then come to the conclusion of Gunko being a celestial dragon, to which Brook's reaction and the reply came out of nowhere. Like what? How does Brook know about the Holy Knights? I wouldn't be surprised if it were Jimbe who called this. But even he hasn't got a clue. So Brook knowing about them makes things even more interesting. Now people are saying that this might have been the result of Brook's past. Even before the time with the Rumbar pirates, Brook had another life, as he told us on Thriller Bark. He was the commander of a certain kingdom's assault convoy, but we still don't know anything about that part of Brook's life. Maybe he had an encounter with a holy knight while serving this unknown kingdom. But seriously, both Brook and Robin need to be sat down and asked to reveal all the information that might be useful to the crew. Like, these two know a lot of things, but keep them to themselves, and then randomly bring up things like these in a conversation. We then see Gunko attack the Straw Hats. She starts with Ussop, launching an arrow towards him. But again, as I said the last time, Nami is really stepping up here. When it comes to protecting kids, Nami doesn't hold back. So much so that we see a brand new attack from Nami. She turns Zeus into a black thunder cloud shark and then launches it towards Gunko. Now, any other opponent would have found this attack troublesome, but not Gunko. She just casually redirects the attack towards Nami. And the attack does land and hits someone. Did it hit Nami? At least that's what I thought, until I scrolled down and saw that it was Brook who took the attack. Hilarious! And amidst all this chaos, Gunko is talking about how the people of Ohara and Vegapunk were close to finding the true history. I really wonder about how much the Holy Knights know about everything, because earlier we saw Gunko talk about Nika and about the final war in this chapter. It's quite intriguing. After Nami's courageous try at attacking Gunko, we now see God Ussop trying to catch her off guard. and he actually does. He fires a deadly attack towards Gunko and it hits the mark. We see a big skull smoke cloud at the impact. As the smoke cleared, we see that half of Gunko's upper body was blown to oblivion. Again, just like Nami's attack, Usopp's attack was actually strong and deadly too, but only if it wasn't for Gunko as their opponent. We then see Usopp is scared that he went overboard and killed her. Like, come on Usopp, don't flatter yourself. As we see everybody's shocked face at the sight of Gunko regenerating her body. Now, it's clear that this regeneration power is similar to that of the 5 elders. These powers might very well be Imu's powers. That's what everyone has been saying. And I think that is completely the case here. The summoning circles, the regeneration, these powers are definitely been given to Gunko by someone. Most probably Imu, which also means others may also have regenerative powers and some other unique abilities. Gunko then goes for the counterattack, while talking about the enormous battle that will engulf the world. The same thing that Whitebeard talked about in his last moments. And as per Gunko, when that battle begins, who the giants choose to side with will change the entire course of the war. As we then see Dory and Brody, alongside the giant warrior pirates destroying the dream monsters. It makes so much sense now about why the government and every other faction wants the giants on their side. And also he reasoned that the world government was experimenting on the gigantification of kids on Punk Hazard, and Mother Carmel was on Elbaf was supplying kids to the world government, and also why Big Mom wants the giants to be part of her family. The giants are a powerful force. Having them on either side will definitely give anyone a huge advantage to either side. So it makes so much sense now. We also see a panel of Luffy's group. Amidst all the chaos, the fire, the kidnappings, and other stuff going on in Elbaf, the strongest fighters on the entire island are chilling in the underworld. Both Luffy and Loki are filled up on food. Come on now, both of you, you had your food and energy now. It's time for both Luffy and Loki to go absolutely destroy these Holy Knights. There is no better time than this for Loki to show his legendary powers and for him to see Luffy's sun god Nika form. Going back to Nami's group, Gunko attacks Colon and captures him. Jimbe and Brook, the 2 strongest present there, they prepare to attack Gunko. As they are about to attack, Gunko smartly and elegantly redirects both their attacks on each other. Gunko's powers are so awesome, and even more amazing is her ability to use those powers to their full extent. I want more of these devil fruit eaters to use their powers to their maximum potential. That would be really fun. Both Jimbe and Brook knock each other out. Nami then tries to attack her again and gets absolutely destroyed. Usopp jumps in to save her, and he too gets wrecked. We see this painful panel of Gunko absolutely destroying his jaw, and by the looks of it, Nami's group seems defeated by Gunko. I still think Jimbe and Brook will bounce back, but for the time being, they are down. Elsewhere, St. Killingam is at the Walrus School, and he has successfully subdued all the teachers at the school and defeated Principal Kiba. Killingam's powers are also insane, as he just puts his opponents in sleep mode. We see Anjay and others helpless on the ground, as he then talks to St. Sommers, who is currently fighting the former Marine Vice Admiral Jaguar D. Saul, and it does not look good for him. Saul is roughed up by St. Sommers and his thorn powers. While Saul is fighting, we see Robin and Chopper are hiding in his beard. Now, I know Sommers is a really strong fighter, but Robin and Chopper hiding really doesn't make sense to me. Both of them are really strong fighters, as we saw in Wano. Robin literally took on a devil form to defeat Black Maria, so we know at least she can give a tough fight, or at least help Saul. So I don't know what the idea is behind them hiding. I'm sure Oda has something planned. Also, I don't think that Saul is going to die here. That wouldn't make any sense. But still, Robin is really scared for Saul, as we can see in this panel. Then we get some really interesting stuff. We see St. Sommers recalling his shady deal with King Harald. Of course he was evil. Of course he had connections with the world government. Apparently it looks like King Harald made some kind of deal with the government to give them giants as their soldiers. And by the looks of it, after making the deal, Harald then backed out and supposedly chose to be a peace-loving nation. And that is what Sommers is talking about in this panel about King Harald messing up. Now, this might very well be the reason that Loki killed his father. Loki knew about his connections and intentions towards the world government. Things are getting really interesting. And that was the end of One Piece chapter 1146. Absolutely amazing chapter. So much of Gunko, slight lore about the final battle of One Piece, and confirmation on the suspicions about King Harald. And as always, so many more questions. But fortunately, there is no break next week. Can't wait for Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Loki to get into action. Hopefully we get to see that in the next chapter. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this chapter review, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down your thoughts, theories, and opinions about the chapter. Your support means the world to me. Check out my One Piece Final Battle series, where I speculate on how I would like the final battle of One Piece to unfold. If you are interested, the link for that is in the description below. Until next time, keep dreaming big and sailing the Grand Line.